Hi everybody, not been around lately because I've been visiting family, but I just wanted to share a little recipe with you that my family all love. As children they loved it, and it's just a little sort of cake cum biscuit called Coffee Kisses. I've made these with my children, with my grandchildren. It's so easy and it's all store cupboard stuff, so you're not going to have to go out and buy loads of stuff. So let's see what we think. What you'll need is to put your oven on a gas mark 4, 180 centigrade or 350 Fahrenheit. You need self-raising flour, which I've got here, but if in the USA you wanted to try this, they say for every 110 gram of all-purpose flour you add a teaspoon of baking powder, and that gives you our self-raising flour. And so we want 175 grams. So in America you would want 175 grams and about 1.5 teaspoon of baking powder. So 175 gram. So I'll just put my scales on. Do 175 grams. There's absolutely no need to sift this if you don't want to, because you're going to rub in, it's a rubbing mixture, so it's not as if you want loads of air into it. If you was making a cake you would sieve it. Nearly there. So that's 175 gram, and then we want 75 grams of sugar. There's not loads of sugar in here, but we do use butter icing, so that makes up the sweetness. And then you just need to mix that in. And then we want some butter, so we want 75 grams. I like to use it out of the fridge if I'm rubbing it in, so I don't want it too soft. So I want 75 grams. Perfect. And then basically, just if you was making pastry, just rub it in, rub it all together until you get a nice sort of crummy mixture. When I like to cook at school, you used to have to lift it up to get the air into it. I don't do that now. But you're just pushing the mixture together with your hand, pushing your thumbs down just to break down the butter. It's a very, very quick recipe this, so just keep working it until you've got a really nice crumb mixture. Make sure you get all the flour and sugar mixed in. I like to rub it together, and the little trick that I learnt is to just shake it, and you will find that all the big bits will come up to the top. I don't know if you can see that, so you can just rub those bits in, but that's fine, that's absolutely fine. I'm just going to rinse my hands. You need 1 egg, there's no milk or water apart from a tiny bit in this, so just beat your egg. And to get the coffee flavour, what I've got is the ordinary coffee that I use at home, not the sugar, the coffee, It's just instant coffee. Now this is up to you. You can make these as strong or not as strong as you want. The recipe calls for 2 heaped teaspoons of instant coffee. Now I use pretty big spoons, and I like strong coffee. So what I've got in here is 2 big teaspoons of instant coffee, and I'm just going to put a tablespoon, or roughly a tablespoon, of boiling water with it. And what you want is this just to dissolve. So you can see that's just dissolving nicely. Just make sure you get it all. Yeah, I suppose you could use concentrated coffee. I wouldn't use filter coffee in this. It just doesn't work. But instant coffee, coffee granules, coffee powder, or even coffee essence you could use. You may have to put a little bit of milk if you're using coffee essence, just to give you that little bit more wetness of the mixture. But you can play about with this, you know, and you can make them too strong. But not usually. Usually I find that's about the right amount, and I like to get every little bit out. And then add my beaten egg. And with your fork, just mix. Now, I don't know if I hope you can see that, but you're just getting that nice coffee colour. And keep mixing, it will mix in. You don't want a really wet dough, but you don't want it too dry either. You see how all that's getting mixed in really nice. And then, and I totally believe, get your hands in there. Now this is quite wet. And what we're going to do is we're just going to roll it into balls. You don't need to knead it or anything. So just rinse your hands. And run your hands under a little bit of cold water so your hands are slightly damp. And what we're going to do, I've got a baking tray here, my favourite baking tray, and I tend to use it for everything, so that's why I cover it with foil, so I don't want it tasting of anything else. So get a piece, just a piece, and this actually stops it sticking to you when you've wet your hands. You don't want them too wet, just nice and damp. About the size of a walnut, just onto your baking tray. And I've put them, they're going to spread a little bit, so put them an inch to inch and a half apart, and just keep on rolling until you've rolled them all out. I'll come back to you when that's done. As you can see, I've got all mine rolled out. I've actually managed to get 24 out of there, which when we sandwich them together will make 12 actual buns. These need to go in the oven, middle of the oven, for 15 minutes. Now you don't want them brown, you want them just nicely set. I'll come back to you. While your buns are in the oven, we're just going to make a basic butter icing mix. So I've got 50 grams of butter, which is quite soft now. I've got 100 grams of icing sugar, and I've got the same mixture that I used in the cakes, 2 teaspoons of instant coffee to a tablespoon of hot water, and I've just dissolved that, and I'm going to put this straight in. Again, you make this as coffee wise as strong as you want to. I like it the same as the cake itself. I'm just going to mix that in, and I like to sieve the icing sugar. If it's been stood for a while, it tends to get a little bit lumpy. So just a bit at a time, just amalgamate the butter and the coffee with your icing sugar. Now it depends how much water that you've actually put in with your coffee mixture. You may need to use more icing sugar just to get a nice stiffish butter. I always find baking's never precise, it's never exactly as the recipe says. You just sometimes have to add a little bit more of this or that. Sometimes it's perfect. So just keep adding your icing sugar. Don't be tempted to add it all at once, because you just need to get it all amalgamated. See, mine is very sloppy, so it's going to need more icing sugar. So just keep adding it, and hopefully you'll come together. And you want to be able to spread it. You don't want it that thick you can't spread it, but you don't want it runny either. Now mine is definitely too runny, so I'm going to add quite a bit more icing sugar to mine. Like I say, you can always play about with recipes, add a little bit more, add a little bit less. Now, because you're adding liquid with the coffee, it's obviously just making it that much wetter. So I would think that's about another 30 grams of icing sugar that I've put with it. And that's much better. That's, I would say, just about exactly what I want. I'm just going to add this little bit more. Yeah, that's exactly what I need. So once you've made this, you need to get your cakes out of the oven onto a cooling tray and let them cool. Here's all my coffee kisses, all done. Sometimes you get a mottly effect, which is quite nice. These are totally cold. It's took about half an hour to cool them down. And what I like to do is, because you never ever get them all the same size, is just partner them up with ones that are probably similar size, just to make it easier. You've got your butter icing made, and really this is so easy. If you're cooking with children, they will love this bit. Just put plenty of butter icing into one, pop them together like that. I like to put them on a nice cake stand. My children absolutely adore these, and it's because of them that I've actually put this recipe on, because they all want to know how to make them. Yet they have baked them with me in the past. So just carry on putting your butter icing in. Don't be stingy with it. Plenty of butter icing until you've got them all put together. So here we are, this is the coffee kisses all done, all on a lovely cake stand. Mine made 24 halves. Just add a sprinkle of icing sugar, and promise you they're moreish. So if you're on a diet, I am so sorry. Hopefully you'll enjoy them though. If you do enjoy this, give us a thumbs up. And if you do make them, please send a picture. I'd love to see what you make. And thanks for watching. Just before you go, I'm going to do a review on this. It's the Aldi's Own Crusty White Bread Mix. I've had the wholemeal before, but I've never tried the actual white one. So I'm going to do a review on that, so look out for that if you're interested. Apparently it's very easy and it's very nice. Okay, bye for now.